Right, I'm back to do my next prediction video. It's another UFN, and they've sort of stopped numbering them all together, so there we are. This one is being hosted in Germany, and there doesn't seem to be as many people as you would expect on the card, so I don't know if they're adding more last minute or whatever. It's also one of those cards that in my mind just doesn't need to happen. It's full of people that A, I don't know, B, there is no reason why you can't push the sort of Europeans that are on the card onto different cards where they're more valued, really. Their main event is a title fight for some sort of women's MMA, and they've got Joanna, unpronounceable name, and Jessica Penn, who's ranked number 3. Joanna already holds the title, so she'll probably carry on holding the title, I would have thought. The golden match on this card, which is likely to be fight of the night, and it's likely probably to also be awarded fighter of the card, one of these. We've got Dennis Siver and Tatsuya Kawajiri. Dennis Siver, 22-10, and Kawajiri is 33-8. Dennis had a period where he excelled beyond imagining, and was working his way up titlewood, and then things sort of never really recovered. So this is a chance, I suppose, for him to continue with that. Kawajiri has a very, very long record. Some people suggest he's past it, possibly not, but he has been around a very, very long time. These people are mainly on their feet, although to be totally honest with you, they are so well rounded now they can sort of win or lose anywhere, more or less. I actually favour Kawajiri on this one. I don't know why, because he's ranked 15 and Dennis is ranked 12, but that's sort of what I think there. Another pretty good match. Peter Sobotta and Stephen Kennedy. Don't know much about Stephen Kennedy. Apparently, another Englishman, and he has a good record, 22-6 according to this. But Peter Sobotta, very, very well known, Polish in fact, although I didn't know that. He knows, I think, is friends with Benjamin Brincer, and that's sort of how I know him. Sort of through that, really, I suppose. 14-4 is his record. This is mainly going to be a ground war, which is quite refreshing, I think, because the UFC are het up with either two strikers or the classic, striker versus groundsman. They don't have little time for wars on the ground deliberately penned because they think it's boring for people, but, there we are. I probably think Peter Sobotta is going to win that one, but, Stephen Kennedy, his record is very good. Nick Hein and Lucas Sawedge, I don't know what his name is. He's got a perfect record of 13, whereas Nick Hein is 11-2, and he's German, he's fighting in his home country, so he's going to, the hope is, I suppose, that he wins that one in front of the home crowd. He is a bit of a decision king, and Lucas is very good on the ground, so it's going to depend on whether Nick can hold out for the decision or not on that. On to the undercard, Makwan Amikahani. He is fighting Masio Fullen. 11-2 versus 10-4, and this could be a ground war as well, quite possibly. I'm not very familiar with either of these, to be honest. Why Makwan Amikani is called Mr. Finland when he's from Kurdistan, I don't know, but there we are. It's a pick and mix with that one. Let's go for Masio Fullen then. The next one, Mairbek Tazimov and Alan Patrick. Perfect record of 12 for Alan Patrick, whereas the Russian is 23 and 5. And this one is going to be on their feet in terms of Mairbek, whereas Alan Patrick is going to be hanging on probably for the decision. I think that this could be Alan Patrick's first loss, so I'm going to go with Mairbek Tazimov there. Alan Omer and Mike Wilkinson, 9 and 1 versus 18 and 4. According to this, Alan Omer is Iraqi and Mike Wilkinson is from England. Now, I went against the Englishman before, so I ought to, patriotically speaking, support him, I suppose. He's pretty well rounded, whereas Omer is mostly on their feet for that. I'm going to go for Mike Wilkinson, but I could be wrong there. 18 and 4 is quite a strong record from Alan Omer, it has to be said. But you see, I don't know many of these people at all. This is one of those cards that, you know... Anyway. Nicholas Backstrom and Node Lahat. Node Lahat is apparently Israeli. So they really are bringing in people from all over the place to compete in these European shows. I just feel that, you know, it still feels to me like they're bundling all the people from odd places, or the people from, you know, Europeans, people that nobody has ever heard to, onto one card, shoving them into a place where most Americans probably won't even watch what's going on. And it creates poor cards, whereas if they split these people up, put them on different cards where they can actually get exposure as individuals. But anyway, these have the same record, 8 and 1, and Nicholas Backstrom is on their feet, and Node Lahat is on the ground. I don't know who I'm going to go with there. I'll go with Node Lahat. There we are. Scott Askham from England and Antonio Dos Santos, 12 and 1 versus 6 and 2. It's going to be a stand-up war, this one, and I think I'm going to go for Scott Askham on that. Poiter Holman and Magomed Mustafaev, or something like that. Again, this is another one that's likely to be on their feet, and I'm going to go for Holman on that one. And the last fight, Taylor Lupulus and Yulka Saski, 9 and 1 versus 18 and 2. And this is a submission war, 67% for Taylor, 50% for Saski. I don't know. 9 and 1 is a very good record, but 18 and 2 is a pretty good record as well. As I know neither of these, I'm going to go for Saski, I'm afraid. So there we are. That's a big waste of time, I know, but there we are. That's my predictions for this event.